Hi, welcome to class today. My name is Claire Thomas, and this class will be focused on energizing your body and your mind. So I've got my mat set up here. I've got some blocks. There's also the option towards the end if you wanted a rolled up blanket or some type of cushion for your knees. So grab what you need and then meet me in an easy seated pose. I'm sitting on this cushion here to elevate my hips, but you can sit right on your mat. If your hips are really tight though, sometimes it feels good to lift your bum a little bit higher than your knees. Get a little bit more space in there. So in the beginning of class, we are going to ground ourselves. So that means we take this shape and we're intentional about it. So you're going to want to sit up tall here, lengthen through your spine. We're trying again to create some space in our body, especially if you've been feeling tight, stressed, or wound up. So we'll create that length, then we're going to balance that by finding places to soften. So maybe you wiggle your jaw around a little bit, relax and close your eyes. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. And you'll hear me talk about that a lot. In each shape, we get the opportunity to find length, find ways to energize, but then find ways to soften. So tune in to your body and notice how you feel. And maybe if you're taking this class, you are coming in a little low energy or sluggish. Just notice how you feel, and there's no judgment here. We're just noticing, we're that curious observer of how we feel today. And whether you're feeling low energy now, just know that by moving our body in certain ways, with purpose, with intention, we can awaken. We can get that energy flowing. So take a few more seconds. Maybe you're settled in. Start to notice your breath here. So we're going to take our attention and move it inward for a few breaths. You might take one hand and place it over your heart. Just check in with your breath today. You're not changing it. You're not manipulating it. You're just noticing and observing. And now as you're sitting here, I want you to take a few moments and notice if you hear anything. Notice any sounds that are in your surrounding. So whatever your environment is right now, and again, you can keep your eyes closed here. That will probably help. I want you to see if you can notice two sounds that you are hearing right now. And this might be difficult. Maybe if you're at home by yourself or in a quiet spot that you've designated for your practice, this might be really easy. I've got helicopters apparently circling by right now. A little one just came up to talk to me, so that's okay. Whatever your environment that you're practicing in right now is okay, but I want you to focus on what were those two sounds that you noticed, and describe them to yourself in your head. Your experience of these sounds that are happening right now. Because our attention might be outward, but it's in this moment. And so this is a way to practice mindfulness. And after you've reflected on what you're hearing in your environment, bring your attention to your breath once more. Just for a few breaths. We'll center ourselves again. And tell yourself a reminder, any distractions that come up, that's okay. And that's normal, that's life. We just gotta go with the flow here. I'm proud of you for pressing play, whatever circumstances you're experiencing right now. So you can gently open your eyes if they were closed here. And we're gonna start by taking some breaths and finding some movement. So on an inhale, I want you to sweep your arms up to the sky. On an exhale, palms come together and bring them to heart center, what we call Anjali Mudra. Big breath in, arms sweep up, maybe behind you a bit, getting a back bend in, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Do that a few more times, moving with the rhythm of your breath. The length of your inhales should equal the length of your exhales here. Now, if you're sitting on something, you can remove it. You can keep your ankles crossed. You might even switch which ankle's on top if you want, just for a little bit of balance here. And again, we're going to start to move with intention here. We're going to fill up our body with breath and take a pose, and then we're going to empty our body of breath as we take another shape. So that connection of movement and breath is something that we're always working on. We're always practicing. It does take some focus of being in the present moment, and that alone can start to waken us up. So we'll inhale, arms up. Exhale, we'll take a twist to the right. Left hand's going to catch above the right knee. Your right fingers might be behind you, and you want to sit up tall here. Inhale to the center. Exhale, we're going to hinge forward here. I'm going to let the tops of my hands rest on the earth, palms face up. Breath in. Exhale, twist left. And we'll keep repeating that pattern. So inhale, arms up. Take a gentle bend. Inhale, arms up, and we'll twist to the right. Your inhales take us to center. Exhale, we'll fold. Keep moving here with your breath. Each time you come back to the center with a breath in, you reset, lengthen your spine. And then your exhale, you're either bending or twisting. Draw that breath in and out through your nose here. You might feel a little bit of constriction in the back of your throat. You might hear your voice. For drawing on our Ujjayi breath. Excellent job. Move through a few more cycles here with your breath. You might notice your range of motion increasing as you're warming up your body, especially your spine. And then once you finish a set of right center, left center, you'll come back to center here, and then we're going to shift into hero's pose. So from here, I'm on my knees and shins, and I'm going to sit back between my heels. If this is uncomfortable for you, you might have a block underneath you, sitting on a block, or you can just shift right into tabletop. If that's more stable and more grounded for you. So we're going to move into some half camels, and then we're going to transition to some cat cows. So how that is going to look, this will come up. So we're going to, again, on knees and shins, tops of the feet pressed into the earth. And if you need to take this where your bum is lower, that's fine. If you need padding under your knee, that's fine. So I'm going to inhale and reach my right arm up over my head. So get a slight back bend here. I'm going to take the top of my left hand and press it into the small of my back. So I would really like this back bend emphasis to be in the upper part of my back. So I'm going to try to keep this long spine here, pressing hips forward. And then exhale, I'm going to sweep my arms down. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over, and you can see I'm almost making like a C shape. There's a bend in my elbow. My back of my right hand has caught my low back, and I'm pressing. So you'll get sensation, different sensations in each shoulder here. And again, you can take this here. So let's try that again. Arm sweep down and an exhale. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, arm sweep down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, land in tabletop. Then we'll move through some cat-cows. And you know, I said I was going to say this. I was in the car the other day and I saw a cow doing what looked like cow pose. I can't say I've seen cats do this plenty of times. But I actually saw a cow taking this shape. So if you've never seen it, it is aptly named. We inhale to cow with our belly drop, tailbone reaching up to the sky, and then we exhale, pull the belly in, tailbone drops to the earth. And if you want, you can throw in a threading the needle there, where you inhale, right arm up to the sky, exhale, thread it underneath you, gently land on the right side of your head, pressing into the top of your right hand. Then you reset to tabletop. Take it the other side. Or you can just stay in your cat-cows. We'll come back to tabletop. Let's do that all together. So inhale, right arm's going to sweep up, this half camel. Exhale, arms sweep down. Make it big if you want, energized and fun. Inhale that left arm. Exhale down. Let's do it again, one time each side. This time on your exhale, land in tabletop, 2 cat-cows. Option to add in that threading the needle. I'm going to come back up to this half camel then. And then you just rinse and repeat. After you've done 2 on each side, we land in tabletop for a second neutral side. Then move into our cat-cows. Move one time through wherever you're at. From this tabletop, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So stretch your heels down towards your mat. They do not have to touch. Gentle bend in your knees. If you're very tight in the back of your legs, it might be a big bend. That's okay. Pulling your belly button in towards your spine. Press into your fingers here. Really grip the mat with your fingers. Pulling your shoulder blades down and back. Ears between your biceps. And then we can do what we call walking the dog here, where you alternate pressing one heel down and bending the opposite knee. Really nice stretch for the calves. Then you're going to look up at your hands and step your feet to meet your hands. And we're going to hang out in a forward fold. Savasana. I'm going to grab for opposite elbows here and find a little sway. You can always use a block here. If bringing the earth closer to you makes this shape more accessible, then you do that. Again, not looking to lock out your legs. Keep that bend. Draw your chest towards your thigh, but they don't have to make contact. And we're going to press down into our feet and rise all the way up. Extended mountain. So from here, your feet are pressing into the earth. You're dropping your tailbone down. Your fingertips are engaged. Energize your fingers here. Reach them up. But then make sure you're not hugging your arms to your ears. So you're still going to find that space between shoulders and ears here. But you can energize even in this shape. Now, on a breath in, reach a little taller. As you exhale, I want you to bring, we say cactus your arms. You're going to draw your elbows behind you and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Feel an opening in your chest. Your gaze might even go up. Inhale, straighten out your spine, reach to the sky, and then exhale, forward fold. And we'll just hang out here for a second or two, crown of the head hanging heavy towards your mat. Next, inhale, you're going to slide your hands up to outside of your shin. Make this flat back shape here. We call this a halfway lift. Gaze is going to be down towards your mat. And you're really lengthening here. So your tailbone is reaching to the back of your mat. The crown of your head is reaching forward. And then as you exhale, your hands will come down to the mat. And here you've got some options. You can either step back right into downward facing dog. Or you can step back, come onto your knees. Because we're going to move into what we call chaturanga dandasana here. So it's basically going from a high to a low push-up position with your elbows shaving the ribs. So if your knees are on your mat here, you're going to focus on getting your chest and your chin down towards the mat before you press up into this back bend. And from there, you would exhale to down dog. This third option here is from your halfway lift. You step back to a high plank. And as you exit, you bend those elbows about 90 degrees. Gaze still down, thighs off the mat. Inhale onto the tops of the feet. Pressing into the hands here, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. So those are your options. You can always drop those chaturangas and just go straight to down dog. But I just wanted you to be aware. So you choose what works for you today. This is our sun salutation A, and we're going to move through 3 of them. So look to your hands, breath in as you step forward and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, you root down as you rise up to mountain. Exhale, we've got that back bend. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale and fold. Inhale to that halfway lift, and we'll meet in down dog, however you choose to get there. Again, look and step forward. Take a breath in as you halfway lift. Exhale, empty out and fold. Inhale, rise up mountain. Exhale, maybe you got a deeper back bend here. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And we've got our chaturanga dandasana. Breath in to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale as you halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Grow those roots, then grow your branches. Exhale, shine your heart. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Up dog to down dog. And from here, we'll take 5 breaths. Option to drop to child's pose. Knees come out wide, big toes to touch. Send your bum towards your heels. Walk your fingertips forward. Head can come to your mat or to a block. Or you can stay in downward facing dog, although even when you hold down dog, it still is an active pose. You'll feel your muscles activated. Slight bend in your elbows and knees. 2 more breaths. You're doing a great job. You might notice that your breath has sped up a little bit. You might even notice some heat as we're drawing that energy into our body and throughout our body. We're creating that energy as we move our muscles. So you're doing an awesome job. Back to downward facing dog. You're going to step your right foot in between your hands here. Now you can stay in this runner's lunge or you can drop your back knee. So the choice is yours here. Maybe you try out both. Maybe you've got blocks underneath your hands here. Because we want there to be a little bit of space between your chest and your thigh. Or at least you're energetically lifting your space, your chest, you're not dumping it down. Might really feel some activation in your quadriceps. Then left hand will stay planted. Your right hand will spin open. Call this a dragonfly twist. Again, this can be taken just as easily with your back knee down. And then, if it wasn't already, back knee comes down. We're going to shift our hips back. Left hand is going to grab for the outside of your right foot in this hamstring stretch. If that's uncomfortable, then you just keep more of a neutral spine, fingertips on the ground. Continue to breathe. Soften your face. And we'll shift that weight forward. Downward facing dog. And we'll do that on the left. Left foot will step up between your hands. And again, you either stay in this runner's lunge or your knee is elevated. And your heel is going to be pointing up here, not so much towards the back of your mat, but look at that shifting up. I've got my hands on blocks. This feels better for me today. We'll see once we start moving a little faster. Always that option for back knee down. Right hand stays down as our left hand twists open. And although your inner thighs aren't really touching, you squeeze them together here. Imagine they're both drawing closer to your center line. Feel that activation. And then we'll drop that knee down if it wasn't already. Hips shift back. And that option for your right hand to grab for the outside of your left foot. Continue with your steady inhale and exhale through your nose. We'll come to downward facing dog. We're going to pair one movement and one breath here. Now these shapes you can originate from tabletop if downward dog is too much strain on your wrists. And a reminder that you can keep that back knee down. So we're going to inhale, right foot steps forward here. Exhale, we stay in the lunge. Inhale, twist that right arm to the sky. Exhale, shift back, left hand to right, outside of right foot. High plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot up. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, arm sweeps up. Exhale, shift those hips. Grab for the outside of the foot. If you want, inhale, pull that high plank. Exhale, down dog. Let's try it again. Right foot steps up. Stay for the out breath. Inhale, twist open. Exhale, shift it back. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Left side. And we stay. And we twist. shift those hips back. High plank, down dog, high plank. Hold 5 breaths here. If you need to come down to your forearms, that's okay. Gentle bend in your wrists. Push up and out of your sternum here. Belly engaged. And slowly lower all the way to the floor. Rest on your cheek here. Take a moment. Option. Bend your knees, soles of your feet towards the sky, and then you can rock your feet side to side here. Gently rolling up onto one hip and then the other. I like the sensation in the low back, inner thigh. Where are you feeling it? Now from here, you got a couple options. Option 1 is to take a low cobra. So we're going to do some compression in our spine here. My hands are at number 11. My elbows are under my shoulders. And from here, I'm going to press my hands down and towards the front of my mat as I draw my shoulders back. You're going to notice some sensation in the low back here. So, as a reminder, it is your job to make sure that you're not moving into the territory of pain. Being uncomfortable is okay. Finding your edge is okay. Being to the point where it's causing you pain, no. You need to decide then what modification you need to do. Always remembering child's pose is an option. So option 1, we're just going to inhale as we press our hands down and forward. Chest draws up. Exhale, forehead down. And you're just going to start repeating that motion. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, chest down. Option 2 is you're going to bring your hands closer to under your shoulders. Inhale, press up, maybe straighten arms. Exhale, lower down, elbows staying by the sides of your body, gaze down at your mat. Option 3, we're going to take it into a half floor bow here. So I'm going to take my left hand and grab for the outside of my left foot, the pinky toe side. What I'm going to do is on an inhale, I am going to try to stamp my left foot up to the sky. So my thigh is staying down towards the mat, but I'm lifting up my heel, lifting up my shoulder. You'll stay for 2-3 breaths, lower down, and take that on the other side. So again, you're still feeling compression, this unilateral movement. Final option is maybe you're grabbing for both feet. I'm grabbing towards the tops of my feet, my ankles on the outside, pinky toe edge. And on an inhale, press your thighs into the ground as you're stamping your feet up towards the sky, chest lifted. Continue to breathe and release. Whatever back bend you're doing, we'll do it one more time. If you're in this floor bow, remember we're not trying to lift our entire thighs off the ground. We're actually pressing our thighs down to help lift our chest. So let's try it. Inhale, chest is lifted, chin is lifted. Trying to keep that foot flexed. And release. Rest your cheek on the ground. Maybe you take this windshield wiper leg movement. Press up. We're going to meet in hero's pose for just a second. So again, sitting between your heels. You can take an easy seated pose. But we're going to come into now a pose where focus on opening our chest here. Getting, again, more of that back bending. Because when we move our back in this way, that tends to help move some energy around and get that energy flowing. So we're going to take an extended puppy pose. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in tabletop. Now this is an example where I said you might want the rolled up blanket. Maybe you want some padding underneath your knees here, or padding for your forehead where it meets your mat. So what we're going to do is from tabletop, you're going to start to walk your hands forward. Like, this is kind of like child's pose, but notice my bum is up off my heels, and we actually want to keep our hips over our knees. So as you walk your hands forward, you might notice that your hips start moving. So you might have to shift your hips back so they stay over your knees. I've walked my hands forward. Now I want to let my chest start to melt towards the mat. And we are all going to look different doing this. So you might want a blanket or a block underneath your forehead. So you're going to be feeling this as a stretch in your shoulders. You really want to retract your shoulder blades and feel like you're wrapping them around your spine here, and grip your fingertips and your fingers into your mat. You want to be energetically pressing your chest towards your mat, but it does not have to get there. And so once you've reached your limit, if you're having to hold on muscularly because let's say there's a gap between your chest and the mat or your head and the mat, that's when you grab a prop. Support yourself. So then you can let go muscularly, and then we can really start to stretch. Getting that stretch deeper into the connective tissue. So we talked about ways to support. Another option, if you get there, your fingertips are down, your chest is down, and you want more, that's when you bring in your blocks and you place your hands, your outstretched arms, your hands on your blocks. That increases the distance then that your chest has to move to get towards the mat, and you might feel a deeper stretch. Okay, I've talked enough. Let's get into this shape, and we're going to be here for several breaths. If you've got the urge to fidget or move or adjust your hair or towel off, see if you can stay still for a few more breaths, a few more moments longer than you want to. This is part of the work of class. We're increasing our capacity to be comfortable in moments of discomfort. And for many of us, me included, stillness can be uncomfortable. We want to move, we have stuff to do, we need to think about stuff. Mind is a hard thing to turn off. So can you take that focus, that intention, and turn it to your breath? Can you Send some energy into your fingers and really press them down into the block or the mat. Can you send some energy from your chest towards the ground? Not forcing anything. Just being really intentional about our alignment here. Can you soften your jaw here? Relax your face. We've got 5 more breaths in this shape. And I know that you can do it. So come out of this pose. You're going to very slowly start to walk your hands back towards your center. Roll onto one hip. We're going to bring both legs in front of us. We're going to take a seated forward fold here. So I've got a nice bend in my knees, toes to the sky. Inhale, arms come up. And then exhale, hinge forward here. Notice we're taking that opposite shape in our spine. Gently tuck your chin. We're not pressing chest to thighs here. Just really focus on that hinge at your hips. And we'll sit up. You can grab for the back of your knees. We're going to roll onto our back here. I grabbed a block. We're going to come into waterfall here. So I like to elevate my hips in this shape. You don't have to at all. Or you can make a triangle with your hands and sit on it. Place it underneath your tailbone. Just looking for a little hip elevation as you send your soles of your feet to the sky. Pressing gently into your hands and into the back of your head. Option to make little circles with your feet here. You might feel that block giving your low back a little massage. And there shouldn't be any pain here. Make sure it's, under a meaty part near your bum, not up in your spinal column. Then feet will come down. We'll remove the block. You can keep your soles of your feet on your mat, and then we'll drop knees to the right, back to center, knees to the left. So you're rolling onto the sides of your feet here to allow your knees to drop side to side. Opposite hip will lift up off your mat. That's okay here. A lot of the times we're trying to keep our hips square, keep our shoulders down on the mat. Here our hip can lift. Give yourself one nice big squeeze, and then we'll land in Shavasana. The time to just be. So take up space on your mat. Like really, truly, take up space. Let your heels come to the outside edges of your mat, or maybe even wider. Let your ankles roll open. Hands by your side, thumbs pointing out. And you'll do a quick scan of your body. You can start at your toes. See if you're holding on to any tension in your toes or your feet. Just release it. Move up to your calves. Do the same. Become consciously aware of each chunk of your body, moving from your legs, torso, chest, arms, hands, fingers, hips, back, neck, jaw, face. If you identify tension on one of your exhales, let it go. Slowly begin to move your fingertips, your fingers, your toes. Might move your wrists and your ankles. Any gentle movement to awaken. Find a stretch through your whole body. And then roll onto your right or left side. Place one hand on your heart. Say thank you to yourself for showing up today. Then we'll meet in an easy seated pose, just as we started class. You can bring your hands to this heart center here. Maybe your eyes stay closed. Inhale, sweep your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more. 1 more. Thank you so much for joining me in class today. I hope you feel empowered and energized and ready to get on with the rest of your day. Any questions or comments, please leave them below. We love to hear from you. Be well.